Hello everybody. Welcome back to the channel where we talk about stuff. Don't forget to follow me on Twitter. There's a link in the description below. I'm going to say something and it's going to sound crazy. We heard this before, but now I understand it a lot more. I think it's going to happen sometime this year, and I think it's going to shock the ever-living heck out of everyone. I have friends who I discuss crypto with often. Not sometimes, all the times. We have a very interesting group dynamic. It always flows to crypto. We've tried many times to talk about a multitude of other things. At some point, someone says the word honey. It sounds like money, and then we get to crypto. It's always the same. We were talking about Bitcoin. Yeah, I saw this article and I was like, the timing is scary. We were talking about Bitcoin price increases and how much money it takes to actually move the market in any given direction, which we're also going to go over. I was saying that in the future, we're going to have massive movements of price for Bitcoin with a small percentage increase. Do you remember we heard Samson Mao? He's one of the people who kind of said, he said it in two different ways. He said a God candle and an Omega candle. He kind of meant the exact same thing. He said, we're going to start to see Bitcoin going up by thousands of dollars per day. And it's going to be completely normal. When he said that, we were around $30,000 or $40,000 per coin. We get to 70, 80,000. He says, I think Omega candle. And I was like, whoa, Omega candle, like that kind of thing. I get it. What we're seeing now, if you've been paying attention, any weird drops in price that we've been having are all intentional. I need to explain that to you 1000% right now because you might be brand new here. That's not a mean thing to say. You might not have experienced this before. We always see shakeouts, especially during a bull run. There's a lot of new people who enter the market. There's a lot of unnecessary leverage. There's a lot of people who are just in it for the quick, fast money. And whales flush these people out and pick up all of their coins. It's just part of it. You've noticed that every time we go down, we go back up in nearly the exact same level, if not a little bit more. It's part of the game. But the movements, remember this was 2 weeks ago where there was a straight candle up for Bitcoin. Let me try and explain this as best I possibly can, what me and my friend were going over. If you have a day where Bitcoin, let's say Bitcoin's at exactly $100,000. It goes up by 10%. That's 10,000 US dollars in one day. Huge increase, 10% in one day. By the time you get to $200,000, when it rises by 10,000 in one day, that's not a 10% increase. That's now a 5% increase. But we still saw that huge jump up. So I said, by the time we get to $1 million Bitcoin, that 10,000 increase will be 1%. Now imagine if on average, every day over the course of a year, listen to this, over the course of a year, every day we saw a $1,000 increase for Bitcoin. That would be a 1% increase on the first day, $1,000. By the time we got to 300K, that's a third of 1% of an actual increase. But it's still been 1,000. It's unprecedented. Like it's still continuously going up all the time. By the time we get to 1 million, the idea of Bitcoin rising by a quarter of 8% in a day or a tenth of 1%. You look at the charts right now, and this is what I think discourages a lot of people. If you look at the charts and you've been here for at least a year or two, you'll see certain days what is the percentage that Bitcoin will go up? It's like 2, 2.4%. The altcoins will rush up by 25%. In that same time, Bitcoin completely outpaced them by billions of dollars, which the altcoins could never do in a single day. I think we are close. So remember the idea of the end of a cycle? If you don't know, is that we kind of already broke all the rules. Bitcoin normally does not hit a brand new all-time high after the halving until we get to the year after the halving. We got the ETFs in January 2024. Was it springtime? I think it was spring, where we were already at 71,000. That's not supposed to happen. It's supposed to happen in January of 2025, where Bitcoin just finally makes it above 70. And by the time we get to June, we're at $120,000, $130,000 Bitcoin. We get to December, we maybe go to 170, 180. We begin to fall back down. That's been the normal movements. But because of all the accumulation and because of all this money that we're seeing, we kind of broke the cycle. I saw 2 analysts in the last 5 months out of everything we've been going over, 2, who said that they think that the cycle is still intact. But even they question it because they say we need to see by the time we get to December. The idea of the broken cycle isn't a bad thing. It's not, oh my gosh, I'm scared. It's this idea that the market dynamics have completely changed. It's no longer us waiting for the halving, waiting for the year after the halving. We go up for a year and then we go back down. It's the idea that, and it's what we've been seeing, if you sell your Bitcoin or you see the price dip because a whale has sold and you decide to sell, 6 hours later, the price is going back up. Why? Because those coins have been purchased. If you add countries and cities and states and provinces into that as well, there's not ever really mathematically an opportunity for Bitcoin to actually fall. If you've ever been trading on a cryptocurrency website, like, when you see all the numbers and the movements and everything's going crazy, you can see like all the buy orders. Now imagine if over this year, we hear that 16 other countries are also going to be buying Bitcoin. Mathematically, 1% of their population is going to have some kind of interest from reading in a newspaper, on a website, a screenshot from their friend. Look at what our country just did. We got to get into this as well. If you do 100 million people somewhere, you do 1%, you get another million people into the market. Now you multiply that by multiple different countries, and let's say on average, we have another 50 million people. I'm lowballing it. 50 million new people getting into the market with consistent buy orders, not just, monthly and so blah, 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 but all the time. If Bitcoin's price moves, or if someone so-and-so happened, or if someone sells, buy those coins up. Now add in all the banks that we heard are also getting into crypto in America. All the new regulations for Europeans that they also just got that will allow banks to also get into buying crypto and stuff as well, with some of which we also saw last year. The idea is, if we have this many people who are into crypto and it expands to this, any sell order will basically be a ghost. Anyone who's crazy enough to even sell their Bitcoin will basically lose out on ever being able to own that much Bitcoin ever again. And that's the idea of Bitcoin basically not even going up forever, but just consistently going up. And as I said in another video, this is what I think is happening and what we're going to see this year. I think it's been downplayed on purpose. I do not expect CNBC, ABC, Fox. I don't care where you get your news from. For those of you who do not know, these news companies are all owned by 4 families. 4, not 400. Google it. Look it up. It's not tinfoil hat. 4 families who are probably also accumulating crypto as well. This is why we don't see it in mainstream news at all. And why I keep saying it's so crazy that we get this news, that we are actively in the financial world. So we see these reports from the Bank of International Settlements. We see all this buying. We see the SEC filings and stuff like that. And everyone else just isn't paying attention. And for the better part, I don't think the majority of people on the planet ever actually will. But I think this year is when everything changes, because it won't be exciting. It's going to be the word's not slow and arduous. People are used to Bitcoin going up by $6,000, $7,000, $8,000. What would happen if we just went up an additional $1,000 every day from here on out? We'd get to almost a $400,000 Bitcoin. You would wake up and you would see other coins are up by 8% and Bitcoin's up by 0.5%. And it would still have a gigantic impact on Bitcoin's price. This is exactly what I think is going on now, and what I think is going to be the new future for Bitcoin. Is going to be a slow and steady increase. And this is how we end up getting to 1 million, how we get to 14 million. Think about it. If we're at $13 million and Bitcoin goes up by $7,000 in one day, that's less than 1% or 0.5%. Imagine that keeps happening over and over and over as more Bitcoin disappears, more people lock it away. When we start staking Bitcoin to earn a yield, you need more Bitcoin then. The halving keeps happening. Less Bitcoin goes onto the market. No Bitcoin goes into the market. Who's selling their Bitcoin? Yeah, I think I got it. I think I completely put everything together. And this is why all the rich people are buying up all the Bitcoin. Right. Hope you all enjoyed. Hope you all are having a great day, a great morning, afternoon, evening, wherever you are, wherever the heck you might be. I do hope it's absolutely fantastic. Thank you all once again for watching, listening, liking, commenting, and supporting. And I will most certainly be talking to you all soon. See you.